All right, guys, let's finish up part 3 of should you get into hotshot trucking. Now, it's really windy, so I got to use the voice recorder, so don't mind me looking really weird. But here's the moral of the story when it comes to finances, okay? I would say really try to do your best to, I don't want to not have as much money as possible, not like, oh, you should be rich when you get into hotshot. No, okay. However, I will say the burden of having payments monthly makes it really difficult to absorb a slow month, okay? And I know that may be obvious, but that, keep in mind, include rent. Do you have, how expensive is your rent? Is your mortgage paid off? Have a little bit of cash on hand so that if a slow week or a slow month shouldn't put you into bankruptcy. And the number one problem I see with a lot of newer guys is that they take, not me, a lot. Number one problem I see with myself, I don't even have to look anywhere else. Look at me. That's exactly how I started. I had rent. I had an expensive truck payment. I had a finance trailer. I started with debt because I had a bunch of credit card debt. I started also. I borrowed money to get into the business. That's a major disadvantage. I don't even know how I'm here. Right? And so, finances is an easy one to kind of get over, because as soon as you get, as soon as a couple bucks starts coming in, as soon as you start setting aside a little bit of money, it's much easier than to plan ahead. So this is why. Should you get into hotshot trucking if you're broke? Probably not. You definitely shouldn't get into hotshot trucking if you're broke and sick. Right? And do not get into hotshot trucking if you're young and dumb and broke and sick. That's a major disadvantage. You're setting yourself up to failure. So, when should you get into hotshot trucking? If you're reasonably healthy. If you have a little bit of money saved up, and I would strongly recommend, because it'll make sense now, you go get a lease. Really, if you want to try out hotshot trucking, get a lease from Enterprise, from the Ford dealer, whatever. Just get a lease without a massive minimum payment or miles. And I know the Enterprise has a 21 cents a mile and a minimum of 5,000 miles. I get that, and so that'll still be about $1,000 a month. But the thing is, let's say in the beginning of the month you do a quick couple runs and it's 5,000 miles. If you don't work the next week, you don't get charged anything. You know what I mean? And so ideally, for people that are looking into getting hotshot trucking, man, if you could find a company that includes insurance in their percentage that they're charging you, you lease under them with your lease truck from Enterprise, that would be the best possible way to do it, because if you don't work, you don't spend. And the biggest issue that I ran into was my insurance was expensive. I had a truck payment. I had, an apartment. I had all this other stuff. Oh no, it's starting to rain. This is not good. So we'll wrap this thing up. So I would recommend have at least $10,000 to get started in the business. But I would also recommend having your personal finances in order. Don't have any extra consumer debt. Don't have a TV that you just bought on Best Buy or whatever. Don't have a car payment for no reason that you're never going to drive because you're now on the road. If you can go without an apartment or a house, fine. You know what I mean? There's no point in having that stuff either, unless you have a family and stuff like that. So 10 grand, you got to invest into the business, but I would say at least a month or two. I know people say 3 to 6, but a month or two of your personal expenses in your savings account. Because the last thing you'd want is to start into a business and go bankrupt right before you were about to get bigger, right before you were about to become a little more successful, right before the money was about to start rolling in. And that also brings me to a point, where do you live? When are you starting? I would say starting between Thanksgiving and Christmas, spending a ton of money might not be a good idea. Don't do it. Start now or start in the summer. Don't start, I believe August is usually a slow month, so I don't know, but either way, the point is, be smart, plan ahead. How are you, man? So be smart, plan ahead, like time it correctly, and have a little bit of money saved up. I think if you're healthy and you have a couple bucks saved up, it's okay if you don't know everything about the business. That's fine. And then it just depends on your situation specifically, like especially where you live, you know what I mean? Like if you live in Wyoming, you know what I mean? It's gonna be hard to get out. You could be just driving through often. If you live in like those like middle states that are in the middle of nowhere with not much going on, that's gonna be really, really difficult. So if you guys have if you have a specific situation, send me an email. You know what I mean? I'll try to help you. And then who knows? You know, like maybe someone was thinking about getting this, and after watching this 3-part series, hopefully maybe that'll help you plan a little bit better. Regardless, you guys, thank you so much for going through this 3-part series with me. I want to hear from you guys in the comments. What do you think? Did I cover everything pretty well, like semi-decently? And then I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.